Hey, I'm Charli XCX and you're listening to Match Connected.
So, Charli, how's your emotional landscape right now, previous to the album release Crash? Because you're releasing it on the March 18th, right? Is it Friday?
Yeah, it's coming very soon, and it's good. You know, like I feel like when I'm really busy, generally I'm a lot calmer actually, because I think I have less time to get in my head and to think. So yeah, this week I'm super busy. I've been like rehearsing a lot for tour, and yeah, just feel really good and really excited for the album to come out.
How long have you been working on Crash?
I actually began working on Crash before I was working on my previous album, How I'm Feeling Now. I sort of started some rough ideas for a few songs like New Shapes, Every Rule, a couple of others pre the pandemic. But then when, you know, the pandemic hit, it kind of felt wrong for me to put those songs out at that point in time, because I kind of felt like I needed to make something else. Like I needed to make work that was sort of representative of the situation that everybody was in, and that, you know, my fans and I were both kind of experiencing at the same time. So I kind of put Crash on pause and revisited it after How I'm Feeling Now, when it felt possible to kind of make, you know, music videos and travel again to kind of collaborate with different people and things like that.
So so you put Crash on pause due to the pandemic, and then everything came out good for most of us due to the pandemic, and you started releasing some of your singles. What's your favorite song of Crash and why? Even though you haven't released the single, because I've already heard your album, and I'm going to say round of applause for you. I loved it.
Thank you.
I think it's I think the first song that popped into my mind was interesting. You know, interesting in the sounds, but also the lyrics. So, what's your favorite song from Crash and why?
I think there's two. I think my favorite songs are either Lightning or Constant Repeat. Constant Repeat was the last song I made for the album, and there's just something that's so beautiful to me about that song. It feels very sort of ethereal and kind of otherworldly, and I don't know, it takes me to this other place. I really, really love it. So that's definitely one favorite. And then, yeah, Lightning is another favorite, because I feel like it really does sound like the album, you know, it really like takes you,
it goes
to
with
that
it
place. Yeah. And also I made that with Ariel Rekscheid, who was one of the first people I really met in music. He collaborated with me a lot on my first album, and so he's like a really important person to me, and it kind of felt amazing to be able to like go back and work with him on this music kind of so many years later.
It's like going back to basics, right?
Yeah, I mean, sure, I guess. And back to, you know, I was working with him when I was 17 years old, and so it felt really special to be able to work with him on this.
And for example, okay, you told me that Constant Repeat it takes you to another place, you know, but where did that song came from that now takes you to that other place? I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
I mean, that song kind of came from, I suppose, this kind of like fantasy I was having about this other person, you know, and I was kind of like dreaming about this person a lot and wondering whether they kind of felt the same way about me. And I think that is probably why the song feels quite like dreamy and fantastical, because it was kind of all about like a dream. So I think that's where it came from.
It's interesting to know. I would like to ask you who's that person, but you're not going to tell me, and I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, Charli.
Yeah, I'm definitely not telling you.
That's great. That's great. I'm not crossing that line. And what was the main inspiration, influence, or idea in order to create Crash? You know, because it came before the pandemic. You paused it, but where does that influence idea? And because I think and I feel that you musicians, you songwriters, have to feel so much things inside of you to create an album or a single song. You know, I admire your work so much as a songwriter and a musician, because I don't have that skill or that talent. I wish I had, maybe in another life.
Well, I think, you know, everybody is inspired by something, no matter what they do. And for me, a way I can release a lot of my feelings and emotions is by recording and making music. And being in the studio is such a, you know, happy place for me. I love making music. I love working on songs. So I think, you know, it comes from that. But I think I was feeling very kind of powerful and really enjoying the idea of exploring sex and sexuality. And I think you can kind of hear that in the music. So I think that is also sort of where, you know, the birth of Crash sort of came from.
So it will be like a like you unlock that level of your life, like to sharing us, the world, that experience you've been or that past experiences that made Crash to be something like that we can listen to.
I'm not quite sure I understand your question, but yeah, I mean, I think it took me a while to be kind of secure within myself about, you know, who I am, what I look like, how I feel as a woman. And I think this album is me kind of finally being ready to do that.
That was the answer I was expecting, Charli. Sorry for that. But now, what message would you say to us women, you know, because we're living to this through this time that we are empowering ourselves and we're changing how the description of a woman should be, you know? What will you say to the young girls, to women your age or older, just an advice?
I would say that, you know, you can create your own beauty standards. No, there is no like such thing as like the correct way to look or feel or dress or be sexy or beautiful or happy, you know, like you create that for yourself. You know, you are the only person who needs to feel good about the way that you feel, and that can take a really long time sometimes. You know, I think that can take a lot of like self-discovery and exploring, and you know, sometimes it's not easy, but you know, that's okay. I think that's what I would say. And you know, do what makes you happy, do what makes you feel good, and you know, listen to yourself, listen to your inner voice.
Thanks for that advice, Charli. And just one last question. You're such a great songwriter, but also such a great performer. If you would have to choose to be just one of those things in your life, what would you choose?
Oh, that's really difficult, but I think I would choose songwriter, just because then I could just stay at home and chill all the time.
And that's such a humble answer, because you're not like getting like the lights all about you, right?
No, you're good. I'd probably miss it, but yeah.
Well, that's a great answer. Well, it's not a correct or not correct answer, but thanks for this minute, Charli. It was so nice to get to listen to you in a personal conversation. And I hope you can come to Mexico to play your music.
Me too.
So we'll be here waiting for you, Charli. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.